Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Alan Simberg. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about why quitting the use of drugs or alcohol is so hard. I'm going to talk about the physical, psychological, and behavioral reasons why it's so difficult to quit that addiction. If you find the information in this video helpful, I would appreciate it if you would, excuse me, if you would like, comment, and or subscribe to my channel. So let's talk about the physical reasons first. And I'm not going to describe every single physical reason, but obviously the way we feel physically does have an effect on everything else that we do. So obviously some of the withdrawal symptoms can make it really difficult to quit. So whether it's delirium tremors, flu-like symptoms, body aches, hand shaking, any of the physical symptoms that usually occur during withdrawal, which is usually within the first X number of days, depending on the substance that you've been using. So now let's talk about the psychological reasons. Well, might be depression, anxiety, and there's also one other psychological reason, and that has to do with your thoughts. It's what you think about quitting. So, for example, I don't know if I really want to quit. Or, I've heard about those withdrawal symptoms. I don't know if I want to experience them. I don't like not feeling good physically. And it also could be self-doubt thoughts. Hmm, I don't know if I can be successful in quitting drugs or alcohol. Maybe even you've thought, well, I've tried it once in the past, and obviously I wasn't successful. And then there's the behavioral reasons. Well, just like thoughts, and actually just like addiction, there are patterns that everyone develops to their addiction. So, for example, one pattern might be someone who's stressed at work and they decide to stop off at the bar on the way home because they just get so much distress being at work. They really got to calm their nerves after they leave work. Of course, the same thing could be true about drugs. You know, use your drug of choice after work to calm yourself down. There also can be certain patterns in terms of when you use, in addition to if it's after work. So anytime that you have that pattern, it's difficult to break. So what can you do about all these things so that quitting would not be so hard? Well, for the physical point of it, maybe go into detox, have medically assisted detox so that the withdrawal symptoms can be more tolerated. Or maybe get medication from a doctor. Maybe you don't necessarily have to do an inpatient detox, but anything that you can do to minimize the symptoms of withdrawal can help your quitting to be relatively easier. In terms of the psychological, Well, you could use cognitive behavioral strategies. Quite simply, what that means is you think the thought that's preventing you or causing you distress about quitting your addiction, and then you challenge it by identifying a solution. Maybe you need to talk to someone to help you to identify a solution so that the psychological won't be so distressing to you. And then once you identify the solution, besides implementing the solution, put your mind on something else. Because the more you think about a problem, the more the problem will stay with you. But if you distract yourself, the problem really can't bother you. So I'll give you kind of a silly, simple example. And I'm not saying necessarily to do this. Let's say you're thinking about how difficult it's going to be to quit your addiction. Just start counting. You can't have those thoughts, those troubling thoughts, and count at the same time. Not usually. Maybe some people can. And in terms of the behavioral part of it, obviously, I hope it's obvious, what you would do is you would change your pattern. So, for example, you get distressed at work, and your usual pattern is to stop off at the local bar on the way home. Go home a different way. Don't pass by the bar that would be a major temptation if you were considering not drinking. In the beginning, especially, it might be really difficult to resist that urge to drink. So I hope you found the information in this video helpful. And one of the other things that I want to leave you with is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Always do your best. Once you decide that you're going to quit your addiction, do everything you can to focus on all the strategies that can be helpful to you. And also remember what you've accomplished so far. Give yourself credit for what you've accomplished so far. And in my next video, I'm going to talk about what to expect within the 30 days of your recovery journey.